Okay, today I'm going to discuss about the education of New Zealand. My issue is can the Ministry of Education deliver better service in the future? As we know, parents in New Zealand do not need to pay tuition fee for their children from primary school to secondary school. They only need to pay activity fees and the cost of uniforms. Education service is one of the public services provided by the government and funded by the executive branch of government. As one of the three branches in the New Zealand government structure, the executive branch not only funding public service, they also make day-to-day decisions on how and what New Zealand should spend its money on. I choose this issue is because, in my opinion, a good education system is crucial for a country's future. Then, why have a successful education so important? A successful education system is vital for better social and economic outcome for children and students, their families, communities, and the nation. Better educated people are more likely to be healthy, prosperous, and satisfied with their lives. Higher education achievement leads to a higher employment rate and an average income level, as well as increased productivity and a more competitive economy. However, according to new statistics, New Zealand's school ranking in the international has been slipped down, especially on math and science part. How could this situation be changed is now what we're concerned. Since the executive branch managing all government finance, we can't stop thinking how many funds the Ministry of Education received from it, and how well does the Ministry of Education using the funds to improve the education system, or is there any more changes they can make? The first part I'm going to talk about is the taxation and appropriate planning. It aims to use the funds collected from the democratic body of individuals efficiently and effectively. The government tax revenue comes from tax paid by taxpayers. These revenues are used for the public good. Related to this issue, it is about how much the Ministry of Education received from the executive branch, and how they're going to allocate their funds so that they do not waste taxpayers' money. According to the financial report of Government of New Zealand, the year ended 2014, the tax revenue received from taxpayers is 60,879 million, increased about 150 million compared to the year ended 2013. Plus other operation revenue, the total revenue for the government for this year is 89,396 million. Among this revenue, about 12,300 million has spent on education facility, which is higher than 2013. Although the government has increased its investment, the costs continue to rise, and it appears important that to prioritize and identify saving and reallocate to new priority to ensure that the Ministry of Education achieves the best outcome for the resources available. So start point is to know what is the government prioritize. During the year 2013 and 14, the government prioritized is delivering better service, we call it BPS, building more competitive and productive economy relating to education outcomes. It focused on increasing quality and value for all, and make sure every child and student achieve success in education, because a good education system is a major contributor to economic prosperity and growth. In order to become more accurate to allocate funding to a specific area, the ministry needs to do some budget. For the Ministry of Education budget report, for the year 2014 and 15, they are planning to spend 5.51 million on investing in educational success. For the year 2015 and 16, budget for this is increased to 74.64 million. For the year later, it will be 124.27 million. From these figures, we can see the ministry is planning to pour their major funding on making education success. They are on their way to deliver better service under the government's requirement. Furthermore, a good budget planning will enhance communication between management and the governmental bodies. The ministry states that investing in educational success represents a $359 million investment over 4 years, and a further $130 million ongoing in the quality of educational system. Within this investing, $16.1 million spent on supplying and servicing around 45,000 laptops for teachers and principals, $2.6 million put on managed internet service, and a further $10 million on software licensing, $8 million on professional learning and development specifically targeted at learning with digital technologies. Spend large proportion of taxpayers' money on education seems no problem at all. But what if the taxpayers did not receive benefits from education, such as these are not New Zealand citizens but New Zealand tax residents? Will that be all fair to every taxpayer? The second part I'm going to discuss is the chance of responsibility and accountability. So this part is a top-down focus. According to O'Laughlin, the bottom line is government accountability is that we are concerned about whether government agencies are under some control and oversight by us or our representative institutions. Also, the Australian government reports its accountability as involves the fundamental of honesty, openness, adequate disclosure, and careful effective application of resources. For executive branch of New Zealand, their responsibility is keep public entity accountable to laws, make good budget on their spending, let taxpayer money worth it. For the ministry, which receive funds from the executive, they should also carefully plan and make sure they emphasize on the government priority target while making budgets on their own. This part related to the issue would be what is outcome after they spend money. I'm concerned about is whether the result shows they've used money effectively and efficiently. In terms of the Public Finance Act 1989, the Chief Executive of the Ministry of Education is responsible to prepare the Ministry's financial statement and a statement of service performance and for the judgment made in them. In the year 2013 and 14, the Parliament appropriated $9.78 million for the purpose of the vote education. About 25.65% was allocated to the Ministry of Purchase Output and Capital Expenditures. About 75% was payment made by the Ministry on behalf of the Crown to fund other parties, such as Pacific area. So let's start to look at some detailed statistics. The Ministry of 3 specific BPS targets that set by the government branch are: first one, increase participation in early childhood education. Second, increase the proportion of 18-year-olds with NZEA Level 2 or equivalent qualification. And the third one is increase the proportion of 25 to 34 years old with advanced trade qualification to 55% by 2017. From the Ministry of Education annual report, all learners who are achieving the national standards on math has increased by 1% in 2014 compared to 2013. Rating has been increased from 70% in 2013 to 70.6% in 2014. And the result for rating has also increased by 0.5% in a year. The percentage of Year 11 students achieving NCEA literacy and numeracy credits has grown from 75.3% in 2013 and 77.6% in 2014. Although it seems like a big improvement, but the results still below the target, which is sit at 80.7%. The percentage of 18 years old students with NCEA Level 2 or an equivalent qualification was now 78.6% compared to previous 77.2%, but still 1.3% lower than target set for this part. the ministry is required to increase the level of skills in their workforce to support New Zealand's economic growth. Individuals with higher qualification tend to have better economic and social outcomes than those with low qualifications. They have made steady progress towards the third BPS target of 55% of 24 to 34-year-old having a qualification at level 4 or above. In the end of 2013, they reached 53.8%, up from 52.6% in 2012, and the annual average in 2014 was 54.4%. The last aspect is the financial and performance accounting. The reason for report financial and performance is because people can measure the outcomes and outputs against the objectives. Taxpayers can feel more relief and be more confident to the government parties. They are more willing to pay tax voluntarily. The compliance cost for allocated tax will be also decreased. More revenue for government will lead to more good public service can be delivered. While producing accounting report, the chief of executive is responsible for establishing a system of internal control designed provides reasonable assurance as to the integrity and reliability of financial reports. The Ministry of Education annual reports on the financial dimension of the ministry performance through a series of financial statements. The annual report comprises with financial statement and the performance statement. The financial statement covers all monies and resources used by the minister, include comprehensive income, change in taxpayers' equity, financial position, and cash flow. In the statement, it's followed by financial commentary, supplementary information, and notes to the financial statement. The service performance statement of the ministry include information on service objectives, levels of service achieved, and the financial information on the cost of activity undertaken. It also addressed the ministry's management of non-departmental appropriation in the vote education and the vote tertiary education. Also, in order to make government reports more reliable, should also include an independent auditor report from a third party. Using independent auditors' opinion can improve the credibility of the reports to the public. Overall, the three aspects I've listed above, they are all linked to each other as a cycle. The budget is submitted by the current government based on the current requirements of the public and allocated to their perception of the best public benefit. And the budget is split into many different departments within the government branch. There is individual responsibility for how funds are directed and used. Any individual act is subject to a chain of responsibility and accountability within that department. For the Ministry of Education, they receive funds from the executive branch. They make careful budget based on the government's target. The funds are divided into different items to help ministry achieve the target, and then they will report to the public. Let taxpayers believe that they are using these funds effect and efficiency. From their report, we can tell that the ministry is still on their way to improving the education system. They have set a priority target to complete it. Although it was effective, the percentage has increased, but it's still not very efficient as they haven't reached the target they set for each year.